Minecraft Axe vs Sword. Which is better for survival combat? We all know the appeal of both. Axe deals more damage, but the sword attacks faster while keeping a fair amount of damage for itself. With that said, the first thing on the list to do is to find out the damage per second rate for the axes and swords. The DPS. Multiplying the base damage of the weapons with their attack speeds, we get these values. As you can see, with the exception of gold, the sword wins. However, the axe is infamous for its super high critical attacks. Critical hits are exactly 150% more damaging than regular attacks. With that in mind, the critical DPS looks like this. With the sword's high DPS of 19.2 and the axe's high DPS of 15, sword wins again. The sword also contains two notable advantages: sweeping and enchantments. When considering enchants, the axe only has sharpness, while the sword has sharpness, fire aspect, knockback, sweeping edge, and looting. Looting only being helpful in the case of survival. The sweeping effect isn't too valuable on its own, as it only deals 1 damage to the affected enemies. However, it still deals knockback, helping with large groups, and with Sweeping Edge 3 can deal 75% of the sword's damage. This already gives swords a very strong advantage against hordes compared to axes. However, the axe still has a shot. There's one very important aspect we've yet to discuss: armor. With its extra base damage, the axe's DPS isn't as heavily affected from enemy armor. The math used to calculate damage against armored enemies is a bit complex, but here is the netherite axe and sword's DPS against a player with full iron armor, diamond armor with protection 2, and full netherite with protection 4. Based on the math, axes are only better than swords against super high armored opponents. The sword is better, as of version 1.16.5. But we aren't quite done yet. This was all talking about math, the theoretical DPS. Critical hits require you jump, and using a sword, this can be hard to pull off consistently. It is significantly easier to pull off consistent axe crits, at least to most people. And in the future, other tools, including axes, will be compatible with Sweeping Edge. The things to consider in comparing these two will likely change eventually, and the balance could quite easily change. In conclusion, swords are definitely the better option in single-player survival, with the axe's only combative uses over sword is for highly armored single targets, or if you struggle to get consistent sword crits. That is all. Thank you for watching, goodbye.